Under the Fair Copyright Use Act of 1976, the following information will be used for educational purposes only. The video I'm about to play is one that I really need for y'all to pay attention to, listen to, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what color you are living in this United States. It'll be your family and your family's family and the generations after that is going to pay for this idiotic shit that they got going on right now. Whether you like it or not, they are playing us for fools.
Blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID Relief Bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment.
Now, I'm sorry, but what does any of that have to do with us Americans getting funds for COVID? Y'all can't get jobs. You can't leave your house. They are putting you back on restrictions, but you can go shop online, but you have no money. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your light bill, your water bill, but they sending money to Cambodia. And, oh my goodness, here you go.
$5 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan. $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business. $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art.
And still, what will all of this have to do with your stimulus?
Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
And they're going to expect y'all to pay this shit back. Did you hear about the fish, though? They want to count fish? They want y'all to pay for them counting some fish, y'all. Ask them what the number of fish they done counted already.
Provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries. $3 million in poultry production technology. $2 million to research the impact of down trees. $566 million for construction projects at the FBI. The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments. And not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition.
I'm sorry, but the world is still going on. Why? Because y'all are still hiding your heads in the sand. When are you going to just stop? Everybody needs to stop at the same time to show them who is actually in charge. Stop going to work. Stop going out. Stop going into the stores. Stop buying things. Stop spending your money on bull crap. Like, just stop. Let them miss it. Let them, just like when Grandmaster Jay and they went down to Louisville and they shut the whole race down and they lost $64 million, however much money it was for that one day. This is what everybody needs to do right now. Doesn't matter what your race is. Why? Because it's still against you here in America. They're still against you here. They want to send all of that money elsewhere, and you still have to pay for that later on. And your children, and your children's children, and your children's children after that. Like, if they even have children. Why? Because they don't plan on letting y'all reproduce ever again. Like, there's so much disrespect going on, and people are still hiding their heads in the sand because they're not they're still complying. They're not putting their foot down and saying, yo, you know what, man, fuck that job. Stop going to work. Everybody just need to stop going in. Stop spending your money to these stores, because I see a whole lot of other races in all of the gas stations that is in your neighborhoods that is not contributing to you. Why? Because the money is going back to their country. Everybody's taking from this land and sending it back home. Why don't they all just go back home? Why don't everybody just go back home and let's start this shit over? Because this really is not making any sense. And it really doesn't make sense for y'all to continue with the same line. Like, this is the same bullcrap. And y'all are running around following orders like sheeple. This is ridiculous. It has to stop. When y'all gonna learn?
Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
That still ain't enough for us. All that money y'all plan on giving somebody else, that ain't enough for us.
From this legislation, and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done. Thank you very much.
So he telling you he ain't going nowhere. He may be the ones that's saving y'all behinds. Y'all keep playing. Man, stop hiding your heads in the sand and do the right thing. Shut it down. Shut it down.